Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a super exciting tour, a 2023 Chevy Traverse High Country. I am so excited to dive into this $55,000 family car to see just how car seat and family friendly it is. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the Karma. I'm a mom of two, almost three, like 8 weeks left, and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. Okay, let's get started on this Chevy Traverse High Country. And if you're currently car shopping, make sure you check out all of our amazing resources at the Car Mom, including our brand new car buying course. It's an online course dedicated to empowering you to get the best deal on a car. You can find a link in the description box below. Okay, I'm not gonna spend too much time on the exterior because there's so much to cover on the interior, but off the bat, I'm gonna be honest, I don't love the front end grille. I think it's kind of ugly. I think it's a lot going on, not my personal favorite. Here's what I wanna tell you about the Chevy Traverse overall. It is one of the largest, if not the largest, of the midsize SUVs. So I tell families a lot who are trying to make that jump from midsize to full size to start with the Chevy Traverse. If this is too small, you're in Expedition status, you're in Suburban status, you're in Tahoe status, because this Chevy Traverse is one of the largest of the midsize SUVs. So if this doesn't work, let me save you some trips to the dealership. You don't need to look at the Highlander, the Palisade, the Pathfinder, because they're all going to be smaller than the Traverse. Okay, let's move along to her side profile. Check out this High Country badging. I actually love that. The mountains is super cute. And then just a ton of nice chrome on this vehicle as well. I actually love the red. I think Chevy has a very beautiful, rich, dark, cherryish kind of red without being burgundy. It's just a good red. It's not too bright. Cute Christmas lights. Shop thecarmomofficial.com to get yours. And then we move along to the back end. Also just kind of plain Jane, a little boring. So not my favorite exterior. It's a big car, so it's kind of like trying to be boxy, trying to be sleek. It's kind of falling somewhere in the middle for me. Not my favorite, but let's get into the interior. We're gonna break down some of the technology features, and then we're gonna get to the car seat setup. Okay, let's take a look at the interior of the Chevy Traverse. Now I wanna remind you, this High Country, guys, MSRP is $55,000. So if you look at the competitors that are also charging that much, we see a lot more upgraded materials on the interior. If you look at a car like the Hyundai Palisade, for example, and their calligraphy trim level, we're getting quilted seats, we're getting a suede headliner, we're getting so much more high-end material. So I guess in the Chevy Traverse, a lot of what you're paying for is that additional space. I mean, it's not that much bigger than the Palisade. So I just struggle a little bit with the materials found for that price point of this vehicle. All that to say is I probably wouldn't opt for this High Country trim. I think the other trim levels are kind of doing the same for me. You might be missing some features, but it doesn't feel like that much nicer of a car. But let's break down the door panel because this is going to be the same in any of the cars. Some nice cubby spaces right here. I love this, an extra little shelf here, two side cubbies, and then an easy way to decide how you want the power trunk to work, so whether that's max or 3/4. So if you have like a low hanging garage or like you're on the shorter side, it's nice that that's very easy to adjust. Okay, let me get you on the other side and we'll start breaking down the infotainment system. Okay, let's talk about this interior. So we're gonna give her a little start up. The car itself, especially up here, feels very spacious. Like I said, this is a big 7 or 8 passenger car, so things feel comfortable. I feel like I have some good elbow room, great head clearance. As far as the interior design is concerned, I've already said it once, I think it's a little blah compared to the competitors. I don't have a digital dash, I don't have heads-up display. I'm just like, I'm missing some of that tech that I would find in other cars of this price point, which is just interesting to me. As far as my steering wheel controls are concerned, super user-friendly. Bluetooth on this side, cruise control on this side, and a heated steering wheel as well, which is awesome. It is leather wrap, which feels very nice on the hands. Moving to this infotainment system, it's incredibly user-friendly. All of the Chevy displays are basically the same, but you can do different user profiles. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, built-in navigation, a Wi-Fi hotspot. So it does have some good features. It just isn't displayed in the prettiest way. One thing I did want to show you though that's super cool is I wanted to show you is the teen driver technology. This is found across the Chevy lineup and I think it is absolutely genius. So you go into teen driver and then you can enter your PIN. And from here, you can manage your teen's driving settings. So if I go to manage settings, I can do things like buckle to drive, set a speed limiter and a speed warning, as well as set an audio volume limit. I can also see my teen's report card. So it can tell me things like what their maximum speed was, how many times some of the emergency things had to kick in, traction control, tailgating alerts, all of this in here. And then parents can take this information and then have, depending on how it goes, maybe a difficult conversation with their teen saying, why did your forward collision alert go off 4 times this week? Why were you not looking at the road? And I just think it's like a really good way just to see how your teen's doing and to see how the vehicle's technology is keeping your teen safe. So Chevy, I'm a fan. Okay, so that's the infotainment system in a nutshell. One thing that people love to talk about in the Chevy lineup is this. Okay, I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. You can also set a pin on this too. So like, I know it like looks like an obvious button, so maybe it wouldn't be a place to store your valuables, but you could set a pin to protect that, which I'd probably do if I had this car. And now as we come down here, we see all of our climate control. Guys, I'm telling you, I love when the climate control is pulled out, and I love with its buttons. I love a knob. I love its things that are easy. My Ford Expedition could not be more clunky. Everything's in the screen. This is so freaking easy. I love it. I'm okay with this not looking fabulous because it's just so easy to use. Wireless charger, 2 USBs, and a 12 volt right there. And then we get to the cup holders. Chevy cup holders are nothing if not controversial because they are a little small. You know her, you love her. This is the Stanley 30-ounce Ice Flow. It should fit in most cup holders. I'm not being dramatic. It's thinner at the bottom. I mean, it goes in, but it doesn't really fit. So those need to be better. Those need to be better. Standard shifter, very bulky, takes up a lot of room. When you just look at what the competition's doing, I could see this reimaginative, but I know some people really feel strongly about having that shifter. I also just hate all this because like, look at all the crumbs that, whatever, that's neither here nor there. Parking brake, and then some of our controls right there. And then popping into our center console, it's illuminated, which is nice. And then we have a little tray, and it's a pretty decent size. So that kind of, well, oh, 2 more things I wanted to show you. First is this rear view camera. So if you had passengers in the 3rd row, you can see an unobstructed view. Love that feature. And then we also have our own sunroof right here, and they have a sunroof in the 2nd row as well. So it's not a pano, but both rows have them, letting in some great natural light. Okay, that's the driver's seat. Let's get to the 2nd row and start talking about the car seat setup. Okay, so the High Country comes with captain's chairs. Let's talk about the captain's versus the bench of it all. On the Chevy Traverse, you can get the bench seat in the LT or the LS. Everything else is captain's chairs. Chevy, if you're listening, I'd like a bench option in all my trim levels because your girl likes a bench. I have never seen a Chevy Traverse bench in person, unfortunately, but from the photos, it looks like a nice wide bench. I would imagine it would be good for multiple car seats. But we're gonna play with this one with the captain's chairs and talk about how I would set this vehicle up for a mom of almost 3. So to start, the hardware. Lower anchors in both of these captain chairs, tether anchors in all 5 seats back here, which is great. Unfortunately, no lower anchors in the 3rd row, which I think would be a beautiful addition, Chevy. Give us some 3rd row lower anchors. Even just one set would have me over the moon. And for my 2nd row amenities, I have heated seats in the High Country trim, my own climate control, and some charging capabilities as well. Wanted to show you my knee clearance with a car seat behind me. I'm a tall 6-foot driver and I feel incredibly comfortable. So I have the seat set for myself, 6 feet tall, with a rear facing up of a Mesa car seat, and I'm very, very impressed. So I have this car seat installed with the lower anchors. It's very easy to take in and out. The doors open nice and wide, which is great. No sunshades. What's that about? You know what I'm saying? For $55,000, babe, give me some freaking sunshades. A little bit of a door cup holder and some decent door storage right here. I love these little compartments for like throwing my phone while I'm buckling in a child. I think that's great. Something fun about the Chevy Traverse is it has one of my favorite features, which is called the car seat tilt. So it's only on the passenger side, which is unique, but it is on both a bench or a captain's chair. So it's this seat only, but you can actually tilt the whole seat with a car seat installed with the lower anchor. So I actually have taken the infant seat out. I have the base installed. I can pull this forward. The entire seat tilts and slides, doesn't affect my integrity, and then I can access the 3rd row to either help my child buckle, better for 3rd row access. Overall, just like such a family-friendly feature. So I've been driving this car for, I mean, only like a day and a half right now, but I had to do a daycare drop-off, and what I did was I put my 2nd daughter in this blue car seat right here. I put my son forward-facing in the 3rd row, and I pretended I had an infant because, you know, I better get started practicing. And I was able to easily access him, help him buckle and unbuckle because he is not able to do so himself yet. Okay, so let's talk about the 3rd row of the Chevy Traverse. So the 3rd row has 3 seats, which normally I'm not a fan of. However, as you can see, I was able to install this slim car seat in the middle seat of the 3rd row. I chose to install my son's seat here, one, for the drama, because a lot of these middle seats are worthless, so I was excited to see that this one wasn't, but also to give him a little bit more legroom, and because this seat right here doesn't have a middle head restraint. Chevy does not put middle head restraints in their center seats at some of their cars, and that makes this seating position way more dangerous for anyone who would actually need a headrest. So by installing my Sun car seat here with the built-in headrest, I thought it was like kind of a best case scenario, because then someone else could still sit here and have a headrest. So that's why I did that. And so he could, like, I don't know, see a little bit better. So it also could install on either side. Like I said, tether anchors across the bench. I don't think you could do 3. I think it'd be way too tight back here. I don't know why you would ever want to, but 1 or 2 car seats back here I think would fit very comfortably. Just to give you an idea of my leg room, it's a very spacious third row. Check out my legs, feel great. Good head clearance, and I have good amenities. Ceiling vents in both the second and the third row, cup holders, and USBs on both sides. So overall, it's a pretty nice, comfortable third row. To exit, I would just pull up on that same lever, things tilt and slide, and then my pregnant self can hop out. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about trunk space. Now remember what I said earlier, Chevy Traverse, largest of the midsize SUVs, largest trunk space. So if this trunk space with the third row up is not enough, it's time to think about a Suburban, my friends, or a minivan, because this is as good as it gets. It's 23 cubic feet. I have brought the Zoe twin double stroller to show you my trunk space, plus our camera bag, and that is kind of what we are dealing with. So in a second, we will go ahead and take that out and give you a better shot. Okay, so here's what the trunk space looks like with everything out. Like I said, 23 cubic feet, plus we have some extra storage underneath here as well. This is a ton of storage, actually. Like, that is very impressive. Very impressive. And then these can also fold down the third row. You'd have to fold down the second row manually from up there. But if you need more trunk space, you put this third row down, you have a freaking truck bed. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for my Chevy Traverse tour. I've really enjoyed driving this car so far as a mom of 2, and I think it's a great option for families looking for more space but not ready to take that jump to the full-size market. I'd love some more bells and whistles. I'd love some higher end material, but overall, I think it's a comfortable car. I like the crash prevention technology in it, and I think it's really spacious. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.